When an industry titan like Toyota launches its latest entry into the uber-popular pickup truck segment, all industry players would sit up and take notice. The launch of the refreshed Hilux has sent a shockwave in the car industry, like the hammer of Thor bringing down lightning and thunder from the heavens. And now we get to check out this Hilux 4x4 and its top-spec Conquest variant. Let's do this! Hello everyone, I'm Reagan and we are back here at Toyota Valenzuela to check out the refreshed 2021 Toyota Hilux 4x4 Conquest. Toyota Valenzuela is the newest Toyota dealership in the metro, and I am blown away by the size of their facility, from their customer lounge that looks like a hotel lobby to their massive service area that has state-of-the-art equipment. So if you have a need for anything Toyota, better head down here to Toyota Valenzuela and check them out. The Toyota Hilux is part of the triumvirate of vehicles that makes up Toyota's IMV platform. The two other models there are the Innova and the Fortuner. The mere fact that we have the refreshed 2021 Hilux already locally available means that the refreshed models for those two other cars may not be far behind. But in this video, we will focus more on the eldest of the bunch, the Toyota Hilux right here. The variant that I have here is the top-spec Hilux 4x4 Conquest Automatic, which retails for 1,830,000 Philippine pesos. You have to pony up another 20,000 pesos if you want it in emotional red. Now, as much as emotional red is a fantastic color, this sinister black here is wow. Now guys, that's clearly in the lifestyle truck pricing category already, but you'd be happy to know that Toyota throws in a lot of lifestyle bits and pieces here and there to make you happy. And if the pricing of 1,830,000 Philippine pesos is too rich for you, you'd also be happy to know that locally we get 14, I repeat, 14 variants of the Hilux here. So there will be a Hilux variant at every price point. The first difference that you'd see in the top-spec Conquest 4x4 versus the lower variants would be the front grille. You get a redesigned front grille here that has more slats, that is also a little bit bigger and more rugged in terms of looks. You also get this front bumper overrider here that we first saw in the Corolla Cross, but the way it's executed in the Hilux looks so much better. You also have this headlight assembly here that houses a full LED headlight, LED DRLs, and an LED fog light set as well. The front bumper also features a lot of these squared-off, chiseled, angular lines that gives it a truly rugged and macho look. It's a fitting refresh to a truck that has such a legendary nameplate. When you get to the side, you get more exclusive additions that's found in the Conquest that's not really found in the regular Hilux. You get these bulging over fenders here in the front and the rear, where the front over fender connects to your fog lights that makes it look like a tank's cannon. You also get some design cues at the top of the over fender that gives it a little bit more of a premium and upscale look. The top-spec Conquest also gets power folding side mirrors and side repeaters here, and you have a rear sports bar here that's finished in gunmetal gray and black plastic. Now the cherry on top, guys, is all Conquest variants gets a Conquest sticker at the rear panel just to tell everybody that the Hilux you're driving is no regular run-of-the-mill Hilux. The top-spec Conquest also gets 18-inch alloys here that's wrapped in meaty 265/60 R18 tires. Now these wheels are also finished in glossy black, which is different from the lower variants that come in gunmetal gray. Behind these wheels, you get ventilated discs up front and rear drums at the back. When it comes to ground clearance, guys, this top-spec Conquest 4x4 has one of the highest or tallest ground clearance in the segment at 279 millimeters. That's nearly as tall as the Ranger Raptor's 283 millimeters. But mind you guys, that Raptor is already lifted while this truck is not. In terms of flood wading capacity, well, you get 700 millimeters of flood wading capacity, which is still pretty decent for a pickup. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, guys, but I'm not really wearing one of my regular shirts during this review. In fact, I'm rocking this awesome-looking Toyota Valenzuela shirt right here that's been given to me by the good folks at Toyota Valenzuela. While I'm doing this review, guys, I really feel so at home while wearing this shirt in their showroom. Now anyway, when you look at the rear end of the Hilux, you get some updates here and there as well. You get this nice LED taillight assembly here, and here in the center garnish, you have a more hexagonal shape over there, and you have the third brake lamp, the Hilux name, the tailgate handle, and you also get a rear view camera. Now that is one vital addition to the refresh Hilux. Now you also get here your rear bumpers, which normally comes in a stainless steel variant, but the good thing here is instead of just keeping it as a stainless steel rear bumper, the good folks at Toyota decided to finish this in a gorgeous gunmetal gray finish, and I'm really loving it, especially when paired with this really cool black color. When you pop open the liftgate, you'll notice that the liftgate is also now power assisted, so you don't really have to exert too much muscle when you're opening and closing this big boy. Now when you get inside this truck bed, you'll notice that the Conquest variants also come with a bed liner to ensure that your truck bed doesn't get too scuffed up. You'll also see that this big boy is one of the widest pickups in the industry at 1,900 millimeters. You could also have a payload capacity of around 1,000 kilos in this big boy, and the towing capacity of the 4x4 variant stands at 3,500 brake towing capacity. You also get some latches here at the side for the usual tie downs if ever you're gonna haul some larger stuff. But otherwise, yes, this is, well, what the Hilux pickup truck bed looks like. Yeah, easy to close. Now anyway, let's head over to the front and see what that uprated Hilux motor looks like. The refreshed Hilux Conquest now comes with an uprated diesel engine that's good for 201 horses and a ground-stomping 500 Newton meters of torque. That's around 26 horses more and 50 Newton meters more than the outgoing model. The good thing here, guys, is despite that power bump, Toyota claims that fuel efficiency has even improved by around 5%. This baby is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission, but you'd be happy to know as well that a 6-speed manual variant is also available for people who prefer to roll their own stick. When you step inside the cabin of the refreshed Hilux, you'll see that you receive some major updates, but in some areas they still kept it real. The seats of this top-spec Conquest variant are still finished in fabric, but at least the fabric is in a decent design and texture as well. For your steering wheel, you get a leather-wrapped steering wheel, but the leather material that they use is pretty much on the durable side, which is not really an issue because, well, this is still a utility pickup truck. Your steering wheel also houses some buttons here for your Bluetooth calling, for your audio controls, and a voice command, believe it or not. From your wheel, you move on to your instrument gauges, and you've got an analog display here. You've got your tachometer and your speedometer there. And in the middle of that, you've got a 4.2-inch multi-information screen that displays to you your vital stats. From your instrument gauges, you move to your center stack. And in the center stack, you'll see the biggest update that the refreshed Hilux has received. Gone are the AVT head units from the Toyotas of yesteryear. Instead, you get here an 8-inch fully touchscreen infotainment system that has Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and Bluetooth connectivity. The best part there, guys, is this infotainment screen also houses the image for your rear view camera. You don't see it anymore on your rear view mirror, just like in some of the other Toyota models, but instead, it's now making use of all of the 8-inch real estate of the screen that's found in the infotainment system. Now guys, I couldn't really stress how important it is to have a rear view camera in a pickup truck. Now, aside from the fact that, well, these babies are really big and you really need to see well when you're backing up, well, sometimes you might have some payload in your truck bed that would totally obstruct your rear view vision, and that's where a rear view camera comes in handy. Now, beside that, you got your push start button here for your engine start. And below that, you have your automatic climate control system controls. Now, beside that, you also get a rotary knob that controls your four-wheel drive system. And below your climate control system, you also have a row of charging ports here. You've got a couple of 12-volt ports and a USB port as well. Below that, there's a small tray cubby and a couple of cup holders. Now, I normally don't have any problems with the cup holders of Japanese car offerings, but I still brought with me my Clean Canteen thermos just to show you, well, the Clean Canteen test. So let's see if it fits. Yeah, it's a large enough cup holder that there's still a little bit of room to spare, and my Clean Canteen flask, well, fits perfectly. From your couple of cup holders there, you have your gear shifter here that's wrapped in, I think is this leather? No, it doesn't feel like leather. It feels like urethane to me though. But you also have some glossy piano black finish around your gear shifter. Beside that, you got a couple of buttons, one button for eco mode and one button for power mode, which will give you access to all of that 500 Newton meters of torque that this uprated diesel engine has. From there, you have your traditional handbrake here. At least it's not a foot brake, it's still a handbrake. And you have a leather wrap center armrest here with a decently sized center cubby. Now, if you look at the cockpit layout, the cabin layout of this refreshed Hilux, it's pretty much similar to the outgoing model, except they spruce it up a little bit by adding these nice faux gray wood material here on your center dash and on your door panels. And your door panels even get some blue mood lights, which is keeping up with a lot of today's modern trends. Now let's head back to the back seat and see what kind of toys and space we can expect from the back seat of the Hilux. Now the back seat of the Hilux Conquest is pretty much the same as the back seat of the outgoing model, guys. As you can see, it is still a pickup back seat, so that means that your knees will be slightly elevated against your hips. It's not really a big issue, especially if, well, if you're used to riding in the back seat of a pickup truck. In terms of headroom is decent, not really stellar. I get around 4.5 inches worth of space before my head touches the headliner. By the way, guys, I'm 5'6", so that should give you a good reference point. In terms of knee room is perfectly decent as well. Maybe around another 6-7 inches before, well, my knees touch the back of the driver's seat. And you also have a good, decent amount of leg room as well. It's not really the most class-leading space in terms of back seat for a pickup, but, well, it is decent enough, at least for a 5'6" person like myself. For toys, you don't really get any toys at all. You have a center armrest here in the middle that houses a couple of cup holders. You don't get an AC vent here at the rear. You don't even get a charging port as well. You do get a couple of hooks here at the seat back of the front seats. Well, that could still, you could put some, like, I don't know, plastic bags or something there. And you got a couple of map pockets at the seat back. Other than that, well, guys, there's really not much here. But if you do have some small kids, you'd be happy to know that the Hilux Conquest also now sports, well, ISOFIX anchors as well. So, you know the drill, guys. After I do the back seat, what's next? We take this baby out for a short drive inside the Toyota Valenzuela complex just to see how it feels to drive it around and maneuver in, well, parking lot speeds. Let's go for the drive right now. Alright, guys, we are now behind the wheel of the Toyota Hilux Conquest and we are driving around in the complex of Toyota Valenzuela. We don't really have a demo unit right now, so this is just a place where we're going to try this baby out. This is actually a pretty decent place to do this because, well, the Toyota Valenzuela complex is huge. It's actually massive, guys. And this is a great way to determine as well the behavior of the Toyota Hilux, especially when it comes to parking lot speeds or when you're looking for a mall parking slot. Right off the bat, I could tell you guys that you sit quite high up in your seat, and, well, the front cockpit of the Hilux is pretty cozy, in fact. It's a little bit on the smaller side versus the other pickups that I've reviewed, and that's not really a bad thing. It's actually quite good because it feels nice and cozy here while I'm piloting this Hilux going up this ramp. The seats are quite firm though. They're not as plush as some of the crossover offerings out there in the market, but that is also okay because, well, this baby is a pickup truck and it's not really meant to give your bum a massage, if that's what you're looking for. When it comes to visibility, guys, well, forward visibility is, well, it's not equal to, let's say, the High-A Super Grandia, but it's not that bad as well. Forward visibility is decent. It's not really the largest windshield out there in the industry, but it is decently sized enough. The sideways visibility is quite good. You've got large windows for your driver and front passengers. You won't have any issues there. And yeah, you sit also quite high up in your seat. So you also have a good commanding view of the road as well. When it comes to steering feel, well, this macho pickup has some good heft in its steering wheel. It's not as heavy as you'd expect, let's say, from a truck that has like a huge, like 33-inch tires. But this Hilux Conquest has a good amount of heft, but it's not really that heavy that you'd have a hard time moving around in the mall parking area like what we're doing now. In fact, well, it's decently weighted, guys. And in terms of the steering response, it responds pretty much like, well, a pickup truck. Which means that it's not as sharp as a sports car, but it should be well enough for, let's say, your usual off-road duties or workhorse duties as well. Now, while we're staying here inside, we really don't have a way to check out the acceleration of that up-rated engine with that 500 Newton meters of torque, but we can try it by going up and down the parking ramp of the Toyota Valenzuela complex. So we're going down now, and we're gonna test out the braking. Braking is decent. It's average actually, and that's quite surprising, especially for a heavy truck that comes with the drum brakes at the rear. You would think that the brakes wouldn't bite as well, but no, that's not the case with the Toyota Hilux Conquest. This baby's brakes are perfectly tuned for most average, well, daily driving duties, or whenever you go to your farm or something like that. Now let's try accelerating up this ramp to see how that 500 Newton meters would feel like. Well, guys, all I can say is it's easy peasy. It's easy peasy, guys, just going up this parking ramp. Mind you, I'm just by myself in this truck, so it doesn't really have that much of a full load, but it doesn't really have any issues at all pulling hard while going up that parking ramp. Let's try it again. Yeah, this baby is eager to rev, and even if I'm not really mashing on the gas pedal as much, it doesn't have any issues at all when it comes to pulling power. So I have absolutely no doubts that even on a full load, even if you've got a truck bed full there, you could easily traverse a mountain road and go up steep inclines in your 4x4 Hilux Conquest. Now, another thing that I've noticed with this Hilux Conquest is the suspension tuning. I mean, I normally would expect that a pickup with a leaf spring rear suspension would have a little bit of a jarring ride, but that's not the case with the Toyota Hilux Conquest. Even as I'm going around in slow speeds here, I don't really get too much wobble or jarring motions while I'm going around in the Toyota Valenzuela complex. And that is quite a surprising bit of news here, guys. You see, normally, well, pickups would really be a bit bumpy, especially if you don't really have a load. And right now, I'm just all by myself. But this Hilux Conquest is really quite comfortable, and in fact, it feels like I'm driving an SUV rather than a leaf spring-based pickup truck. Now, one of the areas where the Toyota Hilux Conquest does a one-up against its competitors is, well, in its safety features. This baby has the most number of airbags amongst all the pickups in the local market. The Hilux Conquest sports 7 airbags inside this cabin. So that should give you some peace of mind, guys, while you're going around and driving in your Hilux Conquest. Overall, guys, this Toyota Hilux Conquest is a macho pickup truck. I like the fact that it's a well-balanced pickup as well. It's got the performance and the suspension tuning that will make a lot of people very happy. You won't lack in terms of power. In terms of actual work and utility, it's got the goods as well. But at the same time, its cabin is quite comfortable enough that, well, you wouldn't really get too many body aches when you're driving this on a daily basis. The Toyota Hilux Conquest is the current king of pickups when it comes to reliability and durability. With its refresh model, it seeks to hold on to its crown while keeping pace with modern trends. The added cabin amenities and creature comforts, plus that rear view camera is enough to keep this Titan at the top of the hotly contested pickup wars. Once again, thank you guys for watching one of my car reviews. If you like this review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button as well. I promise you guys I'll make it worth your while if you subscribe to Reagan's Rides. I'm Reagan, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye-bye.